I am Joe Kelman. Jim was one of my best friends. We were fishing buddies. We had a fishing team called All Smiles, and we do these offshore fishing tournaments. It's kind of how I knew Jim, was here in the boat. He'd sit over there, and at like 5 in the morning, he'd bring this energy that got everyone hyped for the day ahead. We get caught up on our lives and families on the way out, and we'd start talking fishing. He was so fun to hang out with, and one of the smartest people I knew. He had a great sense of humor and a huge heart. He was a man's man, and most importantly, a Christian man. In the time I knew him, he earned his bachelor's degree, his master's degree. He retired from the Edgewater Fire Department, and then he became head of the Seminole Community College Fire Academy. He reorganized the entire program, and by the time he was done, they were ranked among the top 5 fire academies in the nation. He won an endowment for the school for that. Anyway, he used to run a charter fishing boat out of Port Orange. He knew the ocean like we knew the land. We'd be out there in the middle of nowhere with no land in sight, and I swear he could give us the approximate coordinates of where we were. I'll miss him in the passenger seat, in our talks during the ride offshore. We'd be trolling sometimes for hours, and when he saw a big fish coming in for our baits, he had this way of saying it so excitedly that it made your heart stop. In the next second, he was gently telling you, while you're practically shaking by now, what to do to get it in. He was such a great and gentle teacher. He taught my daughter, and whenever she went, I would always have to make sure Captain Jim was going. There were days we'd catch a bunch and he didn't catch a thing. But he told me he would get such a kick out of helping everyone else have fun. The only thing about going offshore fishing with Jim was he always wanted to get back in early to be with his family. He was such a family man, so incredibly proud of his boys and his wife. I feel like I know them. All the things he would tell me about April, Brad, and Matt. Wonderful Christian family that we could all aspire to have. So there was this time we were about 70 miles offshore in the middle of Gulf Stream. It was hot and super calm, and we were so bored. We'd been trolling for hours with no bites. I'm in the tower, and suddenly I hear the music down below get really loud. I look back, and Jim hops up on the fish box and starts dancing and gyrating his head with that big smile he had, trying to liven things up. Unfortunately for you, Jim, that is a lasting image with me. The last time we were fishing, we had one of the best days ever. I guess it was April of last year, and we were heading out, and he starts looking intently at the water. He suddenly says to stop and go north. Within 5 minutes, we had 2 huge mahi on. Now, Jim was really weak from the chemo, but he refused to let me help him. Like he knew this was going to be his last fish. And it turned out to be one of the largest mahi I had ever seen. We went on to catch several more massive fish and a huge sailfish at the end. We were done by noon. Did you know that 2/3 of firefighters get diagnosed with cancer? Did you know it's the #1 killer of firefighters? They know this, and even despite all the other dangers, they do it anyway. It's a calling to serve, and these guys are true heroes. We had a lot of hang time in those 12 hours plus days offshore. I was unpleasantly surprised how hard it hit me when he was gone. One of the last things Jim told April was that he didn't want us sitting around being sad, but having a drink and laughing and talking about the good times. This was who he was, always joking around, but thinking about others first. I, for one, will try to do that, but I think it's going to take me a long time before I can talk about him and not fight this welling up inside. Anyway, Jim served his country. He saved countless lives, taught others how to do the same. At age 55, Jim died a true American hero. So humble he was. He would hate that designation, but he will be remembered as that, Jim, and as he used to say, it is what it is. And that's what you were, my friend.